What if I told you there's a command so powerful that when you speak it, money begins moving toward you instantly? Not someday, not eventually, within 2 days or less. Most people spend their whole lives asking, hoping, even begging the universe for money. And that's exactly why they never see it. Because the universe doesn't respond to begging. It responds to command. And there is one specific command, a phrase so charged with authority, that the moment you declare it, large sums of money start appearing. Stay with me, because in this video I'm going to reveal it to you. And once you hear it, you'll never see wealth the same way again. Neville Goddard said, "Stop believing in God and start believing as God." That one shift changes everything. Because when you ask as if wealth is far away, the mirror shows you distance. But when you declare as if wealth is already yours, the mirror bends instantly to reflect it. And here's the part that will change everything for you. There is one specific command, a phrase so charged with authority that the moment you declare it, large sums of money begin appearing. Not in theory, not in a vague someday, but within 48 hours or less. And before we're done, I'll reveal that phrase to you. I'll show you exactly how to use it so you can test it yourself and prove this law beyond a shadow of doubt. But first, I want you to pause for a second and imagine this. Imagine you no longer had to worry about how money comes. Imagine you could release the stress about bills, debts, or the future. Imagine walking through life with the calm certainty that when you speak, money answers. What would that change for you? Because here's the truth. If you knew that one command existed, a command so direct, so undeniable that the universe bends to it, you would never waste another second asking weakly. You would stop chasing. You would stop waiting. You would start declaring. And that's why you're here right now. You didn't stumble on this video by accident. You were pulled here because, deep down, your inner world has already been asking for proof. And this is the response. But listen carefully, don't think the answer is hidden in me. It's not. My role is only to show you the key. The key is one command, one phrase that shifts you from begging into authority. And when you speak it, you'll see large sums of money respond within 2 days or less. Now, don't expect me to reveal it this early, because if I just handed you the phrase without context, it would lose its power. You'd treat it like another affirmation, another mantra, and it wouldn't stick. Instead, I need to show you why most people never see results, even when they think they're doing everything right. Because if you don't see the trap clearly, you'll fall right back into it, and the command will never work. I'm going to expose the exact reason people ask for money and never receive it. If you've ever prayed for wealth, begged for a sign, repeated affirmations until your throat was dry, and still felt like nothing changed, then what I'm about to show you will flip your perspective upside down. Because once you understand why asking fails, you'll never go back to it again. You'll step fully into command. And once you do, you'll never wonder again if the universe is listening. You'll know. Because wealth will answer you in 2 days or less. So if the universe is always responding, why do so many people feel ignored? Why do they repeat affirmations for months, pray with all their heart, beg for signs, and still see nothing? The reason is brutally simple. They are asking from the wrong state. When you ask, you imply you don't have. When you beg, you admit you are powerless. And the universe, being a perfect mirror, simply reflects that state back to you. Neville Goddard said, "To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to call forth that which is not seen as though it were, and it must be so." That means every time you ask from a place of lack, the mirror shows you more lack. Every time you plead, the mirror shows you waiting. And this is why most people never receive wealth. They are asking for what they already believe they don't have. Their very words cancel out the possibility. Think about it. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. If you cry, "Please, show me my reflection," the mirror doesn't respond. But the moment you simply look, your reflection appears instantly. The mirror doesn't answer begging. It reflects being. That's how the universe works. Now here's the trap. Most people confuse desire with command. Desire says, "I want money." Command says, Money responds to me now. Desire leaves you waiting. Command forces a response. And that's the shift you're here to make today. Let me ask you this. How many times have you said things like, I want to be rich, or, universe, please bring me money? And how many times has that left you in the exact same place? That's not because the universe ignored you. It's because you broadcasted lack, and the mirror reflected it. Neville once described it perfectly. The world is yourself pushed out. Your outer world is just your inner state wearing a costume. If your state is begging, your world wears the costume of waiting. But if your state is command, your world wears the costume of obedience. Let me give you a story. A man once begged for weeks for a sign of wealth. Nothing happened. Frustrated, he finally shifted. Instead of asking, he declared. He said to himself, wealth is responding to me now. He didn't repeat it 100 times. He didn't beg. He just declared it once and dropped it. The next day, he received an unexpected payment he had forgotten was owed to him. What changed? The outer world? Number his inner state. This is why asking fails. Asking is powerless. Command is law. But let me be clear. Command is not arrogance. It's not demanding from ego. It's recognition. Recognition that you and the infinite are one. That your imagination is the creative power itself. When Neville said, your imagination is God in action, he was telling you that the voice you speak with in your imagination is the same voice the universe obeys. And if you whisper uncertainty, the mirror reflects uncertainty. But if you declare with authority, the mirror reflects wealth. So let's make this sharp. Asking says, please give me. Command says, it is already mine. Asking says, maybe one day. Command says, within 2 days or less. Do you feel the difference? One is begging. The other is law. Now here's the secret. There are specific words that embody command. Words so sharp that when you speak them, your inner state shifts immediately. And when your state shifts, the mirror has no choice but to shift with you. In a moment, I'll reveal that exact phrase. But not yet. Because before you can use it, you need to know how to prepare your mind and body so that the command strikes like lightning, instead of bouncing off like static. By now you know, asking keeps you waiting, commanding makes reality move. But let's be clear. Command isn't about yelling at the sky or repeating words like a robot. Real command is an energetic alignment. It's a way of speaking that carries so much certainty that the world bends under its weight. So how do you get there? How do you make sure your command actually hits? It comes down to 4 elements, but let's approach them differently this time. Think of them as weapons of authority. Weapon 1. The target. Every command needs a target. If a general yells, go, without pointing where, the army doesn't move. It's the same with the universe. You don't just say, I want money. That's blurry. That's like firing arrows into the fog. You define the target. Maybe it's, bring me an opportunity that multiplies my income. Or, reveal unexpected sums that flow into my hands now. Notice how these are not wishes. They're sharp. They're directional. The clearer the target, the sharper the arrow. Weapon 2. The stance. Think of a martial artist before a strike. They don't flail. They ground themselves. They plant their feet. That's their stance. Command works the same way. Your stance is inner stillness. When you're frantic, doubtful, nervous, your stance is weak. Your words wobble, and the mirror reflects that wobble. But when you ground yourself, when you breathe, quiet the chatter and feel anchored, your words carry force. They land, they hit. Neville used to prepare for command by entering what he called the silence. He wasn't hiding, he was rooting. Because once rooted, the smallest word becomes law. Weapon 3. The strike. This is the declaration itself, and here's the difference between a weak strike and a true strike. A weak strike is long, complicated, full of doubt. A true strike is short, sharp, final. Imagine a judge in court. They don't give a 3-page essay. They slam the gavel and say, case closed. That's it. Final. Done. Your command works the same way. It's not about how many times you say it. It's about how completely you mean it the moment it leaves your lips. Weapon 4. The seal. Even a perfect strike needs to be sealed. How? By recognition. This is where most people drop the ball. They declare, but then they spend the next 2 days doubting, second-guessing, checking their phone every 5 minutes. That's not command. That's insecurity. Recognition means you trust the command was heard, and you open your eyes to see how it's answered. Maybe the answer shows up in a message, in a number sequence, in a sudden invitation, in a thought that lands in your head like lightning. Your job isn't to chase. Your job is to notice. That recognition is the seal. It closes the circuit. Without it, the energy leaks. With it, the result hardens into fact. Now, let's make this real. There was a young man who was drowning in bills. Every day he begged the universe, "Please just give me a break." Nothing shifted. One night he tried something different. He chose his target. Unexpected money arrives now. He steadied his stance. Deep breath. Silence. He struck. One sharp declaration. And then he sealed it by moving through his next 2 days with awareness, not desperation. Within 48 hours, his boss called him into the office with surprising news, a bonus check from work they had forgotten to issue months before. The amount? More than enough to clear his bills. Coincidence? Or command? The difference was in the weapons he used. He didn't scatter arrows. He took aim. He didn't flail. He stood grounded. He didn't ramble. He struck once, and he sealed it with recognition. So now you see, command isn't complicated. It's precise. It's sharp. Target. Define exactly what wealth outcome you're commanding. Stance. Ground yourself in stillness before you speak. Strike. Deliver one sharp declaration, like a verdict. Seal. Recognize the signs as the answer unfolds. Do this, and money doesn't wander toward you someday. It begins moving in less than 2 days. Now here's the catch. You've seen the weapons, but a weapon is useless without the right word. The universe bends to the exact phrase you speak. Now let me warn you about the one thing that blocks the response. Doubt. Doubt is like pulling a seed out of the soil every hour to check if it's growing. It kills the process. Command once. Trust fully. Stay awake to the signs. Neville used to say, faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. That means once you've declared, your loyalty belongs to the vision, not the lack. You stand by your command as if it's already unfolding, because it is. Let me give you a real example. A woman struggling with rent decided to try commanding instead of begging. She declared once, sharply, with authority. Then she let go. The next day, as she walked past a bookstore, she felt a sudden pull to go inside. On the shelf, a book title jumped out at her. The answer is already here. She smiled, recognizing it as the universe's whisper. That night, a friend she hadn't spoken to in months called, offering to repay money they had borrowed long ago. The amount? Almost exactly her rent. The command had been answered through signs, alignment, and then delivery. Now you might be asking, why 2 days or less? Why not instantly? Because reality shifts in layers. The moment you declare, the energy begins to move. Within 48 hours, you start to see undeniable signs that the wheels are turning. By staying aware during those 2 days, you catch the evidence that money is already on its way. That window isn't about waiting. It's about recognizing. Preparing for the phrase. Now you're almost ready. You know why asking fails. You know the weapons of command. And now, you know how the universe answers back. But here's the most important part. The command isn't just theory. It's a phrase. A simple set of words so loaded with authority that when you speak them, your state shifts instantly. And the universe mirrors that shift. In the next min, I'll reveal that exact phrase. The one sentence that carries the force of law. The sentence that doesn't just ask, but commands. And when you speak it, money won't drift toward you someday. It will appear at your command, in 2 days or less. You've made it this far because something inside you knows the truth. Money isn't waiting for permission. It's waiting for command. You've seen why asking fails. You've learned the weapons of authority. You know how the universe whispers back once you've declared. Now comes the moment. The phrase itself. I want you to really feel this, because these are not casual words. They are not affirmations to repeat 1,000 times. This is a verdict, a gavel strike, a sentence that the universe cannot ignore. Ready? Here it is. Money appears at my command. Say it once. Say it with stillness. Say it with finality. Not as a question. Not as a hope. As law. Neville said, your assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. But this isn't just assumption anymore. This is the gavel strike. This is the verdict that reality has no choice but to obey. And when you speak it with authority, you shift from being the one waiting to the one who calls the shots. Think about it. Does a king repeat his decree 20 times, just in case? No. He says it once. The kingdom moves. Does a judge slam the gavel over and over again? No. One strike. Case closed. That's exactly how you must treat this. One strike. Done. So let's do it right now. Wherever you are, pause, breathe, ground yourself. And with me, say it like a verdict. Money appears at my command. Did you feel that shift in the silence after you said it? That little surge? That's not imagination. That's the mirror beginning to move. That's the command echoing into form. And here's what's going to happen next. Within the next 2 days, you'll see it. It might begin as a whisper, a message, a conversation, a random idea that drops in your mind. Then it builds into alignment. Opportunities, offers, sums of money coming from places you couldn't have predicted. And finally, the delivery. Cash in your hand, deposits in your account, wealth finding its way to you because you commanded it to. I've seen it happen. A man once spoke these exact words at night, only once. The very next morning, a friend messaged him out of nowhere wanting to buy equipment he had been trying to sell for weeks. Cash in hand, instantly. The following day, an old client paid him money he didn't even remember was owed. 2 days. 2 flows. 1 command. That's the power you hold. But listen carefully. If you break the rule, if you start repeating it nervously, if you start doubting it, you dilute the power. The moment you speak it, the wheels turn. You don't water it down with desperation, you honor it. So here's what I want from you for the next 48 hours. Stay awake. Stay aware. Notice the whispers. Write down anything unusual. Because the money is already moving toward you. No more begging. No more waiting. The universe doesn't answer please. It answers command. And now, you have the command. Now that you've spoken the command, the most important thing you can do is hold your ground. Don't wobble. Don't go back to asking. Don't start whispering weak affirmations as if the universe didn't hear you. It heard you. The command is in motion. Neville Goddard said something most people miss. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Loyalty. Not visiting it once, not dipping your toes in and then running back to doubt. Loyalty. That means once you've declared, your only job is to stand firm as if it's already unfolding. And it is. Here's the danger. People issue the command and then sabotage it by checking every 5 minutes if something has happened yet. That's like planting a seed and then digging it up every hour to see if it's growing. The soil was working. The seed was sprouting. But your doubt killed it. Not you. Not this time. You're going to walk differently after today. When the thought comes up, but what if it didn't work? You silence it with one knowing response. It already has. That's the mindset of authority. That's what separates the one who commands from the one who begs. And here's what you'll notice. Within the next 48 hours, money starts to trickle in, sometimes in the strangest ways. Don't dismiss the small signs. A refund you forgot about. A discount you weren't expecting. Someone handing you cash for something simple. That's the universe proving the law. Because when you honor the small, the big follows. Now I want you to imagine this with me. You wake up tomorrow morning. Your phone buzzes. It's a notification. A payment cleared. Maybe it's small, maybe it's larger than you expected. But the timing makes you stop. Wait, didn't I just declare it? Later that day, a thought drops in your mind, out of nowhere. Call this person. Check that opportunity. Look here. You follow it. And suddenly doors open that were invisible the day before. This is how it begins. The whispers, the alignments, the delivery. And if you keep your ground, the delivery comes bigger than you thought possible. Remember this. The universe bends faster when you act like it already has. So don't just sit back waiting like a skeptic. Step forward like a commander. Walk as if wealth is hunting you, because now it is. And one more thing. If you really want to lock this in, declare it not just with your voice, not just with your thoughts, but with your presence. Walk today, talk today, breathe today, as the one who has already been answered. That's the true secret Neville kept pointing us toward. Don't just assume lightly, assume with finality. Step into the state of the one who has spoken law, and reality will rush to fill it. You've just unlocked something most people will never hear in their lifetime. They'll keep asking, keep waiting, keep begging, but you now know the truth. The universe doesn't respond to please. It doesn't respond to someday. It responds to command. And the moment you spoke those words, money appears at my command. Everything shifted. The wheel began to turn. Now, your only task is to hold your ground, to honor the command you've given, and to notice the proof as it shows up, because it will. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, sometimes as a flood, but it always comes. Here's what I want you to remember as you step back into your life. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of luck. You are the one who gives the decree. Neville reminded us again and again, your imagination is God in action, which means when you declare with authority, you are not speaking as a powerless human. You are speaking as the source itself. And that's why it works. So let's seal this right now. Not just with your voice, not just in your mind, but in writing. Scroll down and declare it in the comments. Money appears at my command. Type it once, as law. Because every time you write it, you're not just typing words, you're anchoring a reality. You're proving to yourself that the command is final. And as you do that, something amazing happens. You're not just declaring for yourself, you're joining others who are doing the same. Look through the comments. You'll see hundreds, maybe thousands of people declaring the same authority. That's not just community, that's collective power. Now imagine what happens when thousands of voices, thousands of commands, all ripple into the same field. The energy multiplies, and suddenly, the impossible becomes unavoidable. So here's my final message to you. Trust the command, watch the signs, stand firm for 48 hours, and then come back and tell your story, because you will have one. Thank you for watching, for staying all the way through, for stepping into your authority. And if you want more teachings like this, rooted in Neville's wisdom and sharpened for today, make sure you subscribe, because this is just the beginning. The universe doesn't answer hope. It doesn't answer begging. It answers command. And now, you hold the command. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.